So, we have decided to finally do this podcast. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to put the device. Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to hold it on my knee while I open the can of beer. Andy's on his, so I'm on mine. You heard that open. Now, I'm not going to make the intro too long. Like you did before. Yes, like I did before. I'm recording the other podcast that I do on my other channel tomorrow. Tomorrow evening. Well, it won't be evening because, yeah. So I got to ring mummy and tell her all of the stuff. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, there will be a website pretty soon. A website where the podcast gets distributed as well as the YouTube channel. But we're going to have, hopefully, we're going to do different things with the website. I could put this on the mat. Oh, don't do what you did the other day. I know, and spilt half a bloody can. Yeah, because these cans are pretty big and they make a lot of mess when they get spilt. As you learn. As I learnt. Anyway, so yeah, there's going to be a brand new website, and I'll keep you all updated about the website. Because I've been thinking about this for a while. Yeah, it's not just something that I've got, oh yeah, what's the website? We've thought about it for a while, and I've got a brand new studio. I've got a brand new podcasting studio and a brand new filming studio. And you've got a bar and a workshop. Yes, but I don't film. Well, I do film in the bar and the workshop. But actually, you'll see all that in another video. Excuse me. Because I've got a video. I've got a tour, a Beans World tour that I'm doing, which is why I didn't do it on the other channel, because it was mainly a Beans World tour, which is the filming studio and the other place. And I wanted to kind of do all that on Beans World channel. Because, yeah, filming sets do, you know, they do come with their perks. as they do come with their perks, but when what we decided, because what we've thought as well is we're going to be doing Patreon. Yeah, but the Patreon will not be for the money that goes with the Patreon will not be just willy-nilly. No. It won't just be spend a fucking thing. It'll be the money that you spend on the Patreon goes towards the podcast and the website. Yeah. And there's a business plan. There's a business plan with Beans World 77 written all over it. And so we're going to have things that the Patreon will have things that you won't get on the channel. No. And the Beans World Club. Yeah. Which is already happening over on Facebook. There's going to be a group pretty soon, in the next week or two. Another group which is private. It's not like the Beans World family. This one will be private, and everybody in the Facebook group will have to, once they join it, they'll have to keep to the group rules, which is be kind, don't do any world domination, don't fuck up the world. The world's already fucked up without anybody. Without anybody fucking up the world, because the world is already fucked up enough. Thanks very much. But those people, basically, what will happen is the Patreon will bring in lots of people who are just Beans World members only. Yep. And they will just be Beans World associates. They'll be the ones that enjoy the pod. They'll be the ones that enjoy they'll be the ones that want this, what we're doing. I mean, there's many reasons why I'm doing the website. Many reasons. And there'll be imaginary friends stuff on it. Yep. There'll be pretend and play stuff on it. There'll be all kinds. If I went through everything that was on the website right now, we'd be here all day. I am going to do a podcast just based on the whole thing through the website, but the main thing is social media is great, but the argument I had with my mother, was this. Yes, social media is free, right? But the thing is, you become the product. Yeah. And so, and plus, I wanted to have something I own. I can't own a house because of reasons. I can't own an office block because of, I probably could have an office. I probably could rent a podcasting studio. But when you rent a podcasting studio, there comes a lot of issues with renting the podcasting studio. So, instead of doing that, we've decided let's not rent a podcasting studio. Let's not go down them routes. Let's instead do what means to go on. But mind you, I am on another podcast. You're on the Radiant Advertisement podcast, which I'm also on the other one, the Creative Thoughts podcast, aren't I? Yeah, but we're doing 2 other podcasts which are work-related. This isn't work-related. Well, I don't know, because we're going to get, the Patreon. Yeah, I mean, I want to talk... Well, I'll talk about the Patreon. See, the thing is, this intro's gone on long enough. But the reason for the website is, the thing with social media, right, is it owns you. It's, we've done Facebook for a long time. Yeah. And we know with Facebook, yes, you can get rank high on Google. But with this this website, this is not social media. We'll be controlling the content that we want to put on. Not only are we controlling the content, this is more professional. Like, yes, we got the Beans World YouTube channel, but the Beans World website is, like, we want to go old school. We've got Beans World Arts. We've got our friends at Clitheroe Stones Painting. Big, excuse me. I just take a swig of beer. Excuse me. Yeah, a big shout out to Clitheroe Stones Painting, our friend Becky Walsh and Susan Martin, and Danielle and Jess and all the other guys. You know you are. You're brand new members of the Beans World family as well. And we're going to put some of them on the website as well. But only ones I like. Yeah. The only ones I like. It'd be like the top 10 stones. Yeah. The top 10. And probably someone was asking for the Power Stone, weren't they? Yeah, apparently someone's been in that group already asking for the Power Stone. Wasn't me. But I am getting I'm gonna get a very special stone with fire. Excuse me. Fiery painting. Let's take another swig of beer. I know it's not recommended. Beer. So yeah. And so yeah, I think. But this is the thing. We're doing the website for you and for us. But the thing is, we're controlling what goes on the website. There's no big giants at the top saying, this is what you must post on the website. This is what you must do. And all the art stuff is not going to be censored. So there might be something that's a little bit risque that YouTube and Facebook and Instagram doesn't like because it's a bit ummy and ahry, shall we say. But it's very 90s, pre-2000, it's all the really cool stuff that probably people weren't into and didn't see. Now, we're not doing that sort of fandom, but that's where the research comes from. Very sort of 2000s sci-fi anime, which was a weird genre, or just like animation in general. Yeah. So think Invader Zim, think Jimmy Neutron, think the Rugrats, like really weird dream sequences. Think LSD Dream Emulator. Think just anything really and cool. Yeah. And weird. And my freaking lords, it will be weird as hell. And so some of the stuff, not all of it, but some of it will be... See, a lot of places it might be seen as porn. Oh dear, he said the word. Porn or violence or gore. Which some of it will be because we like to tap into that world, that dark world. And it will be politically incorrect. Which is why when you go onto Beans World Arts, there will be a warning at the very top saying all this that I've said. So it'll be, heed the warning, people. Heed the warning. Yeah. It'll be for the people that has lived that era and they want to go relive the era. You know? So yeah. And so it's literally, it is what it is. You know, I mean, but yeah, it's gonna be what it will be. So what will Beans World Arts, which will be kind of the rescue parts of it, or can we not talk about that kind of thing? Pseudo doll, Black Dungeon pseudo doll. Wasn't that a brain rot thing that you did, or the naked bones of the script was, yes. But it's not. It's not. It's, yeah. It's, I can't describe the storyline because it will get me hung, drawn, and quartered. But let's just say it's about people getting demon possessed in certain areas of their body that you would not get demon possessed. Okay, and then we've also got, that's one of the main stories that's going on it. The other stuff that's going on there is oh crumbs. We're having the frustrated angels. Now, there's a bit of a joke there. A bit of a joke for that. Is that sort of like Baal's temple, or... Oh, there's a joke about that as well. You see, there's all these things, right? Loads and loads of stuff that's going on Beans World Arts will be either in jokes or just parts of projects that I'm working on, or just parts of other really cool projects I'm working on. But a lot of it will touch the dark side or touch the psychedelic side or whatever. Like, we've got dream journals, we just got just pathetic stuff, just kind of literally, it's literally going to be one of the best rabbit holes you'll ever want to go down, because all of the artwork there will be parts of projects that we cannot use for whatever reason. You know, can we use Bratz Doll India? No, we can't. No, we bloody well can't. She's actually got rights protection on all of her stuff now. Really? Yeah. Because you know, when I did the car walk round of her other car, she had a logo on the front. I thought it was a Hello Kitty one. There was a Hello Kitty, but then she had her own logo on the front of the car, which we're not allowed to use. Did you get told off for using it, or? No, I didn't get told off for using it, but I got a copyright protection notice on Instagram. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, because she's got her own logo, which she uses, or did use. I don't know if she still uses it or not. But I was told that it was copyright protection, so I can't use it, unfortunately. But if they did want to put their stuff on, well, they did want to put their stuff, they did want to send us stuff or whatever, then yeah. As long as it's not too bad. If it's too bad, we can't put it on. But if it's quarter bad, you know. So it's not pornographic because it's meant to be, or, oh, for fuck, do you know, I hate people when they fucking censor shit. It's censored. It's not censored. We've got no... It's... A lot of the artistic stuff on there is art for what it is. It's allowed to go down certain routes, but if I censor something, it'll be because it's going too over the mark. Like it isn't OnlyFans material. Yeah. So it is kiddified. But it's, how can I put it like this? It's kiddified, but it's going down an adult route, shall we say, without spoiling the whole thing. Because it's very, very tame. Yeah. You know, it's not, you know, it's not hardcore corn, or it's not even the stuff that's like, that will seem pornographic is not. It's kind of, yes, there will be stuff, but it won't be, it'll go to a certain level. There will be stuff that gets unexplained, but stuff that does get explained. But it's... How can I explain it without spoiling it? It's stuff that people will enjoy. You know, it's stuff that gets censored online because of, you know, it's more on how awkward it is. You know, how off it is. If you know what I mean. It's like creators have their own law, which I want to talk about in another episode, about the law I have for the way I create things. And when it comes to certain things, I think the real world gets so censored, you know. It's like there are things that exist. And it's like the stuff you'll see on, like the gore and the violence you will see is 90s type violence and gore. It's not by today's standards. It's not over the top. You know? It's more like ludicrous space wars. It's buildings being blown up by robots. All that kind of thing. Is there going to be any AI stuff? There will be AI stuff, but I will tell people this now, before they start flying off the handle. The stuff that I fully blown create will not be AI. The only stuff I will create with AI is the Imaginary Friends blog. That's the only bit. The pictures on that. But apart from that, and the some of the vehicles, or most of the vehicles, if I can't get them for whatever reason, I'll have to create them with AI. But that's for another thing. Because we're doing a vehicles... we are doing a vehicles shrine, as well as a car shrine and a racing car shrine. We're doing an all vehicles shrine, which will have miscellaneous. There's going to be some weird stuff on that, And I'm just going to say now, this will be a site you'll want to doom scroll. This will be... It'll be like, do you know when you were a kid and you used to doom scroll floppy disks, and you'd find there'd be that one thing you'd find on a floppy disk which you hadn't found, but if you were scrolling late at night, you'd find that file, you'd find that picture file, or you'd find that video file, or you'd find that music file. This is basically what this page is going to be. We're going to make these shrines, we're going to make these art galleries, we're going to make all kinds of great and weird stuff. We're going to be putting some creepy pastas on, but not the ones you're used to. Not the Ben the Lonely cartridge or Sonic eggs. None of that shit. There's going to be real good creepy pastas. We've got the Bones Factory. Oh my gosh. We've got the Swarming Skull. We've got... we've got the Devil's Music. Oh, wow. And we've got the Children in the Loft. Oh, and the Baby's Boiler. Yeah. But not the Baby's Boiler from the Tales from the Vaults. A different Baby's Boiler. Yes. And that will be a story that will frighten your bones. Oh yeah, and the Lost Boys. The real Lost Boys. Yeah. That will frighten you to death. All these stories will frighten you to death. Well, I hope they frighten you to death, but they'll be proper, chilling ghost stories that will make you just want to shut your computer off and make you want to go outside for a few hours or something and touch grass. Yeah. But this is the thing. We're gonna have a whole dark side to Beans World 2, which you'll love. You'll absolutely love. I mean, you'll love the website. It'll have loads of really good stuff. There'll be ghost stories on there. There'll be shrines. You'll be on that site till 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. Instead of scrolling TikTok, you'll be on the Beans World site. Well, it's strange people say that because we do scroll TikTok. Oh, man. Anyway, let's stop talking about the website because we will do another podcast episode on it. But we are now going to do questions. Oh, fright my ass. And I need to sip beer. And so do you. Right. What music are we listening to at the moment? What music? Yeah. House. House. What? Oh, frick! It's not Friday yet, is it? No, why? House music. No. Tom's messaging me. Oh gosh, is there shit going off down there? I hope not. Sorry, I've just got a bar down there. Which we haven't named. At the moment, it's just a freaking hellhole. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, it is weird that we get to talk like this. People will now know, like I've spoken on my other channel quite freely of moving and how good that is, but I want to leave that to another month. I know people ask you that question. Are you going to answer it? I will. Since you've asked nicely, well, that how is the move? How was the move? The move was smooth. It was, yeah, it was. Well, I don't know. It was semi-stressful, but the problem is the stressful bit isn't not moving. Oh, well, not for me. No. The stressful bit was packing. Nope, that wasn't. Frick, gosh, the stressful bit for me was packing, and then it was like, oh yeah, because you had Rosemary telling you, wow, no, not even that. It was just like packing stuff. It was just like I don't like packing. I'm always stressed about what I'm gonna lose. Oh, am I gonna lose my best pair of underpants? By the way, I don't have a best pair of, well, actually no, I have Calvin Klein boxers, but they've probably got shit stains in now. Yeah, they've probably got shit and spunk stains in there, so they're not my best pair of underpants, are they really? Yeah, no, the moving was fine. But it was because it was like, and now I've moved. I don't want to do any spoilers, but have you made the home your own? That's the question. Yes, I have. There's a but here, people. Well, it's not really a but. I hate it when I'm going back to like last week. I felt a little bit homesick. I've never felt homesick in my life, but it wasn't I've been homesick before. Yeah. Right. And I was about 6 years old and I'd never been away. No, hold on. I wasn't 6. I was 7 or 8. Yeah, I was 7. Right. And I went on holiday with these people. I'd never been on holiday without mother and dad. Never. I'd always been on, and I was away from them for a good few weeks, and I just had to come home. They just had to pick me up and bring me home. But the first week, I was like, not like when I went to my next door neighbours. I just felt like, oh, where's mummy kind of thing. But I thought, oh, come on, you want to do this. You've done this. You know what I mean? You've caused all this freaking chaos. Yeah. And mummy's being mummy, and I just have to not listen to her. And I was like that yesterday. I had to just not listen because it's like, oh, you've been here for whatever, and now you want to do that. I know what you mean. You don't want to go back home and fuck it all up. So, excuse the French, but that's what it is. So I went home last week, but I was like, oh, I want to come back here now. And it's like, I don't want to go back to that way. Do you know what I mean? I've got to move forward, push forward. And I've had the respite here. I had the respite here. And I moved things dead fast. I should have had another respite here. I shouldn't have moved things as fast as I did, but I've done it. And that's a big achievement in itself. It's like when I went on a train, and instead of doing little journeys, I'd been on a train for 2 weeks, and I thought, screw this, I'm going to Harrogate. That was just 2 weeks of being on a train. That's no joke either. There's just one thing that's throwing me completely is a certain road I've got across. But I want to leave all that for another channel, because another podcast. But no, moving seriously, it's I've had one little homesick moment, and I've just I went home, I saw mummy, and I was frustrated anyway. I just thought, I want to come back. And so I'm now happy. And I don't know, I want to try and, this sounds mad. Can I sound like a teenager for a second? I just want to see a little bit less of mummy for a moment, I mean, I'm going, I might have to screw the lie-in up a little bit this weekend, because I've got Torch in the afternoon, so if I go see Dad in the morning, because if I go there for an hour and come back for lunch, depending on what the weather's going to do and stuff, and I'm hoping it's going to be all right for football, I've got to speak to mummy. I'll do that tomorrow. I won't do it now. But the problem is, it's like, if I think less about, I missed about, I thought, oh, the mattress, oh, but I've got my teddies here, I've got my hedgehog here, I've got everything here. I'd hate to move it all back, and I'd hate to undo the good work of moving forward and progressing. So I'm sorry for spoiled all that for you. No, but how smooth do you think it's gone? It's been a week since you've moved, and it's like, because you're doing a whole thing about your channel. I am, but I'm doing that in a month, because it's a whole month's worth of work, and I'm doing a lot of AI stuff. Yeah. And yeah. And I'm taking another month off. I'm taking a month off this channel. Taking 2 months off. Wow. Yeah, it has to be done. But we're a good year in this channel. I'm gonna make sure there's a good batch of videos before I do the 2 months off. A good batch of shorts. Yeah. Well, that's what I'll do. It'll be 2 months off with the big videos and just loads of shorts. By then, I'll probably get to 400 subs. Yeah. But it is what it, I try and not see mummy too much and try and just by, let me move in. Just let me, and it's just been one thing after another. But I don't know. Hopefully next week will be back to normal. I do need a spare day next week where I can just do mobility stuff, work routes out and things, because there's got to be a way. I'm not having this. There's not being a way. I'm not usually like this, but it's got to be. I can't be asked calling a mobility officer, because mobility officers, he's great when you want to get your cane fixed, but he's not great when you need to learn a new route. So I have to just learn it a different way, which I will do. I will. Oh. Anyway. Ugh. But apart from that, is that sort of what's put you off, kind of the routes? And yeah, a little bit. The routes, it's kind of, what I might do on Monday is just spend a little bit of time walking around. Because I'm not gonna do anything stupid. I wouldn't be a douchebag and just go around across this road. Once I've got it in my head that I can do that, I can cross that road. Once I've got it in my head, that's it. And it takes me a while, but if I can do it, I can do it. Might be best to do it on Saturday morning, because that route gets, not on Saturday morning, but kind of just a little bit after. I don't know. We'll see. My line's going to get ruined, I think. I can feel it in my water. Yeah. I've noticed, though, that you are more chilled. You are kind of... I've been more chilled this week than I was last week. Because so many things threw me last week. And you just moved in, haven't you? Yeah. But so many things. But like this week, like my workbench is in the bar. People just leave me to my own devices. And if they want to join in, fine. Like I've said this to Michael, if you want to come in the bar, don't feel free to just don't feel like you have to go back upstairs. The poor guy. Oh. But it's like, I think there's like, we're respecting each other's boundaries, which is cool, but there's all that. But then it's like, well, there's boundaries and there's boundaries. But I bet it's a big culture shock with there being no bedtime rule, isn't there? And, oh gosh, there is no bed. What bedtime rule? Frick me! You just go to bed when you're tired. Like last night, I thought I texted you guys. I'm not coming to the bar. I know I'm not coming, and there was stuff on your workbench to do. I know. Well, I was going to look at it. Well, I'm not going to look at it till tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow afternoon. ish tomorrow evening, because I know there's stuff to do, but it's a case of what tools to use, what tools not to use. Yeah. Because it's a case of having a drill and drilling in and not having a drill. Yeah. I think that drill is charged, you know. Yeah. I think there was a plug for it. I think it's in the new cables box, which I got today. Yeah, it's in the new cables box. So yeah, we were talking about music. I think Tokyo Machine. I'm trying to think of that new one that I heard. Invincible. Oh yeah. That is such a serious house tune. Yeah. Chapter and verse. Summertime. Yeah. That is a serious house. Yeah. That is a serious house tune. That's a banger. That's not a serious tune, my friend. That is a banger. As we say in the trade, that is a flaming banger. Yeah. But I don't know. We also like our punk rock. Indie punk. Yeah. I bought a tortoise. Alien Nose Job. Teen Mortgage. That's just loads of stuff. I saw some birds shouting fuck, fuck, fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the drugs settling in for you. Oh man, what have you put in my beer? Yeah, I like Discharge Bullshit Detector. Oh, Cross Punk's good as well. Just, yeah. The next question that we're getting, yep, is Minecraft. What's our thoughts on Minecraft? I can't say because it's promoting the channel. Yeah. And it's, yeah, so I'm not going to give you my thoughts on Minecraft. You ain't getting them. That's how professional I'm being. So yeah, I'm not telling you where I love or hate Minecraft. There you go. You're not saying no. I have said on other podcasts that I'm doing, like the Magic Silver Room podcast, which is coming back, about my actual thoughts on Minecraft. But I can't say for this channel, unfortunately. Dear me. I know. Oh yeah, by the way, I've been so lazy I've not bothered to put an image on this version of the podcast, but you'll get it back on next week. We'll work my ass off on that. That's a promise. So yeah. Oh. I know the next question's going to be, I can feel this in my water. Yeah. Why don't you get yourself a girlfriend and all that shite? We haven't had anything on relationships. I have on Instagram. Yeah, I have on Instagram. I've messaged those douchebags and I've said, well, I'm very sorry. Yeah. There's loads of people following us on Instagram at the minute. Well, I've got about 17 followers. I don't really post much on Instagram, which I need to. I do more on TikTok. But yeah, we need to talk about social media on the podcast. Yeah, we really do. But I think for actual, like, for reading stuff and for catching up on things, I think TikTok is what Facebook used to be. In terms of, I know it's video, but if you just want to catch up on shit, if you want to read stuff, I couldn't say, because I don't really use an app for reading anything. Like, Facebook used to be brilliant, but now you'd have to not use Facebook for 12 months to catch up on everything on Facebook. I mean, I remember one time, because the way I used to use Facebook was I used to post stuff on my pages, and then because there was not a news feed for your pages, there was just a news feed for you. So you had to be smart. You had to, pardon me. You had to use your wits, get your wits about you. And so you'd use Facebook like a search engine, and you would search it. And so when you were working and you would put stuff on Facebook, you would literally not be reading stuff for a good, I don't know, half a day, because you were only posting about your company. So by the end of that day, you would see nothing from your newsfeed because you'd be busy posting on that. Now, on Facebook, you're seeing different feeds and you're seeing different things. And so now you're not seeing what you would see, not even the good stuff. You know. I mean, to be fair though, my Radiant advertisement stuff, the feed for that's very good because I don't look at it all the time. And when I do look at it, it's stuff from, like I say, it's like the old Facebook because I haven't read it for ages. And so when I do read it, it's like, oh wow, this is stuff I want to read and share, and this is stuff I want to like and engage with. But it's because you're looking at that stuff every day, it becomes stale. It gets stale very, very quickly. Whereas TikTok's like, it's very kind of TikTok. If you just leave it for a little bit, and you will see stuff. Is it me or the leisure lakes in here? Yeah, must be. There's someone at this time of night, they keep rising a bike around. Yeah. Which I like to hear. I could listen to it for hours. Yeah. Is either a bike or a really nice car. A bit of a decent engine. Yeah. That's my sort of ASMR done. I think we will head down for 11, half 11. Because, yeah. Well, I won't have an early night, but I won't be going to bed ludicrously late because I want to get stuff done in the morning, unfortunately. And as much as I'd love to do Radiant advertisement stuff, and podcast stuff, oops, and sit in a bar half the night. And then I know people are going to whinge at me tonight. I know there's going to be arguments, yeah. Someone thrown out again last night, weren't they? Oh, there was a fight. You missed it. I heard about it. Oh, it wasn't a fight, but it was like, yeah, somebody being an arsehole. Well, I'm going to take the new card machine down tonight. The one that I'm supposed to use for Radiant advertisement, but I think it will do. Yeah. It's a bit of a tricky one to use because you got to press a button on it. Oops. For multiple accounts. That's the question that keeps getting asked about the what is it? The dream stuff. Yeah, I'll do another episode on that. But I will tell you, the Hour documentary is getting made soon. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot shorter than we did it. Can we just pause this for a moment? Whew. So I had to go off there and use the bathroom. Yeah. Is the bathroom still in one piece? Yes, the bathroom is still in one piece. Oh. Which is good to say. I have to say. Yeah. Which can't said for anything else. Yeah. You like this keyboard? That was a weird... It was weird, wasn't it? You like this keyboard? It doesn't do anything. It will do. Yeah, the our documentary, it's going to be a lot shorter than planned. It's going to go into the dream sequence and then end with me not wanting to go to bed and then me going to the school counsellor. And that's it. Wish there was sort of truth in the whole thing. And you tried to bring stuff out because I remember you talking about R and the whole kind of law and stuff. Yeah. And I think a lot of the times with R, I think it was, well, when I look back, I had a lot of stomach issues as a kid. I don't really want to go into it, but part of the physical side of it, but the spiritual side of it as well, because I wasn't even a Catholic then. I was a Protestant kid going to a Catholic school, and then I became a Catholic before I left school. That's a long story. Wow. There's no religious connection with but I think the spiritual connection of it was. And I never really found what I was and who I was till I became a teenager. And what I was and who I was as a teenager, I was kind of lost with that. Because there was no information, and they wouldn't let me research the things I wanted to know. I just wanted to be me when I left school. I didn't want to be the weird kid. And I remember, I've told this story countless times, but I'm going to tell it a different way. I had an argument with my ex-girlfriend, which back in high school was a big fucking thing, right? And it's not like college. When you have arguments with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your significant other in college, it's a different level argument. It's when you have an argument with someone at school, you think it's serious, but it's not. And this argument got a bit serious because she had shit going on outside of school. I was trying to be the supportive person into, you know, hey, what's going on kind of thing. You know, let's sort it out. Come on. And she just yelled at me and told me not to get involved. And she screamed at me and slammed the door. And I wish she'd slapped me across the face looking back. Now, everybody in the class knew. They knew me. They knew me. They knew when I got pissed off. They knew when I was happy. They knew when I was happy I laughed. They knew when I was pissed off I got sad and upset. And they knew when I was angry. Get the fuck away, man. But they did not know when I had I tell you what, I'd never been, they call it burnout now, but I just wish I could have screamed. It's the only moment of my life when I couldn't do anything. And I was trying to work out what my mood was. But I just wanted to sit in the chapel alone. I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to figure the whole thing out. Think it through. My monkey mind, I just want to let my monkey mind to do its thing. Because that would hurt nobody. And I knew that then. And sometimes I know it now. But then I thought, if I just let my monkey mind do its thing, think about it. But I just want to sit alone and think about it. I don't want to sit with anybody. I really don't want to sit with anybody. But my English teacher was having none of it. Heather Douglas, fantastic woman. She saw right through it. She knew I wasn't okay, but I wasn't going to say anything. I was not going to say anything. The head girl, who I won't name for this, she saw it play out. What she actually seen, she'd seen the whole thing, but she was brilliant. She stood back and instead of her jumping in, I think she tried to talk to me, I think she tried, come on, Stephen, come on. I think she tried, but that didn't work. Because then I was a lot more of a douchebag than I am now. I am still a douchebag, but back then there was no reasoning. There was no, no reasoning. And I had this monkey mind going on, and I wasn't okay, but I worked out. All I wanted was this person to speak to me and say that she was sorry. And that's all I wanted. I didn't want anything else. I just wanted her to say, I'm sorry. It wasn't me. That wasn't me. I was out of character. She was out of character that day. And she didn't care how I was trying to bring her to earth. Do you know what I mean? It was something I shouldn't have got involved with, but she should have. Anyway, I'll take you to the scene in the chapel. Right? So Heather Douglas is trying to work it all out. Now, I mentioned her because she's really important. She knew me better than I knew myself at that moment, because I was not the autistic adult. I was the autistic kid. I was a kid who was lost and didn't know my way in life. And to be honest, I didn't give a shit that I didn't know my way. That was the thing. And I was trying to go against the wind. What do you mean? Well, I was confused and I knew what was happening, but I wouldn't have that I was confused until another time. And I wasn't going to have it that life was changing around me, kind of thing. And I didn't know. And she knew there was a big change. She knew. Anyway, but she knew me. And everybody in the class knew me. Everybody. And when Heather had a chat with me, and I was like, I wasn't saying, I kind of had to blag it a bit, but she sort of knew. And I had to just listen to her. I didn't want to listen to her, but I had to. And I just had to listen to her. I just had to. Anyway, the day played out as it did. Oh, she got everybody to sit with me, and I thought, right, I can now everyone's with me, I can sit with my thoughts. And to them, they could see my brain. It was like my mobile phone was going off. Do you remember those days when your mobile phone would go off, or sometimes my CD player would go off in my bag, or someone's phone would go off? It was like that. They couldn't hear my thoughts, but they could tell. They could tell what I was thinking. And that day, they all walked with me to the common room. And I was silent. I said absolutely nothing. The whole day, I was like this, by the way. The whole day, I was silent. I didn't talk. It's not like I didn't talk. And I didn't play the non-verbal thing. There was that back then, but I didn't play that either. I was just silent. I was just not me. Because I was still thinking about it. It was like an itch on the brain. The monkey mind had sort of gone by this point, but I was just trying to think, is there a problem? Has she got a problem? Is she going to dump me? You know? All these things went round. And I was like, I'd rather if she told me if she's going to dump me. I'd rather if she talked to me. You know, I didn't like the whole silent thing from her end. But I was silent. That was a big red flag. You know, the break time and lunchtime, I was silent. I had my music. I had my corner. I sat there. Everyone just allowed me to be me. Everybody, even the year 11s, because we shared the common room at that point. Even the year 11s, even the douchebags from year 11 that didn't know me as much, but they did know me. In the end of the day came round. And the head girl, she thought, right, that's it. I'm saying something. And she said, excuse me, can I just have you a minute? Can I just speak to you? It's like, look, I've got to go for my taxi. Look, this is important. I need to know something. Right, okay, fine, whatever. She took me into the common room. She closed the door. No, she just took me in. She didn't say anything. She took me in. I said, look, I've got to go for my taxi. He said, look, I want to ask you something. She didn't know, but she knew. She knew me. This person, by the way, this person knew me. She was a shy girl. And how did she know you? Did she sort of... Oh, she knew. She had a little group of people, but they knew. They knew me. They knew me through the whole of school. But this person just watched. But this day, she was watching from the wings. Remember, she was trying to intervene, I think, but she, you know, she was the one that shouted at me because she wanted me to come away from it. And she knew I was going to get hurt, and I did. And so she did tell me something. I can't remember what she said, that part, but she did say, look, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, why, you know? And she said, well, I saw everything that happened and everything. And she said, I could tell you weren't fine. And I was like, I wasn't. She said, well, listen. She said, anything, you know, you can come to me for anything. It's the end of the year, end of term. What would I want to come to you now for, kind of thing? But I said, you know, I just want to say thanks for it, you know. She said, look, she said, I didn't like the way it happened. And, yeah. And I didn't find out till I left school that day she was trying to stop it. What she was trying to stop you from. She was trying to stop me from intervening, from walking into an argument. But I didn't know. And everything happened so fast. And she was the only one there that shouted at me. And I thought, wow. But she knew. She knew how to... She knew how to speak to me. She knew how to It was waiting for the right moment. It was at the end of the day. Wow. It's like, it's weird because it's like, you know, people don't know how to talk, you know, deal with those situations. Well, I've always said, if there's a kid that's, even if they're if they're a douchebag in the classroom, if they're silent, that's worse than them being loud. That's worse than them screaming. Because the silence is worse these days. Because when I was in college, there was a mate who used to, well, he was a good classmate, and he was the only one, besides my other mate who I actually had, who I wasn't into house music back then. It was a year before I got into dance music. Or it was a anyway. This one day, this kid who was sat next to me, he was always into everything, like all the other kids. Yeah, a Brailler came in, they'd all crowd round, or a Braille note, they'd all crowd round or whatever. But this kid was real influence in the way I worked. And I was influenced by the way he worked and all the rest of it. And he was a dead supportive kid, this kid. And I used to say, hey, you all right? You know, kind of thing. Because that's the way I was. But my tutor picked up on something. One day, I didn't know this. This was beyond to me. But this came up in parents' evening. I actually asked him one day. He'd been quiet all day. He'd just come in, because that's the way he was sometimes. You know, he'd just come in quietly, you know, put his bag down, whatever. But this one day, he came in, put his bag down. He hadn't even spoke, and I thought, is he all right? So I just said, "Are you all right, mate?" Each time. He's like, yeah, mate, yeah. I thought, this kid's gonna fly off the handle in a minute. And unbeknown to me, something had happened outside of college. I didn't know about it, but he told the tutor after I'd gone. I wasn't to know. I wasn't really bothered. I knew this. I sat next to this kid every single day. Every single day I sat next to him. I saw him not every single day, but every single week. So every single week, he always sat next to me. He was a pretty chill character, to be honest. And he wanted to crack on with the course. He had visions of what he wanted to do after the course. But you know, and he came in, and there was stuff going on in his life. There was stuff going on, and I didn't know. I didn't know that he wasn't all right that day. I didn't know that there was something off. I knew there was something off. I knew he wasn't feeling all right. And it wasn't any of my business, but I just said, "Are you all right, mate?" He's, yeah. But he wasn't, he was holding it in. But to me, you know, he knew. Because I always asked him all the time, you know, "Are you all right, mate?" You know. Because he'd come in quietly, and I'd say, "All right, mate," you know, all the time. Because I didn't want him to be, what's the word? I didn't want him to be, I didn't want him to be upset, you know what I mean? I wanted him to know. And we don't see that these days. It's like, in the workplace, we don't see that sort of thing. We don't see that thing. We don't see that vibe. We just see, you know. And if anyone's listening to this pod thinking, oh, this has helped, you know, there's someone in my workplace who, or in school or in college, it could be anywhere, and they're being silent. You don't have to ask them what their business is, but just ask them if they're all right. Pretty simple. Simple thing to do. You know? Because they could be in a sticky situation. And the worst thing that, you know, and it gives you, you know, a good bit of conscience. You know? You don't have to be someone that works with that person. But if you know them, and you see them every day or you see them every week, and they're a bit off, they're a bit under the weather, the best thing to do is to tell them. If you tell them, because the worst thing is when they're holding it in. When they're holding it in. But it's always great because to check in on someone, because if you're working with somebody and, I don't know, they're feeling a bit off or something, they're feeling a bit more vulnerable than they should be, it's all right to ask. You know? Because they might be feeling a bit under the weather and they might not communicate pretty well. And so it's just the best thing to do is to ask. As some people might not know. But anyway, it's brilliant that we've covered this bit because you were the weird kid all through school, as we've heard on the other podcast, Your Journeys. Yeah. And, you know, well, in school, you know, I was the metalhead. I was the, nobody liked my music. Nobody liked the things I liked. Nobody really, you know, I was the Star Wars kid, the Warhammer kid, the PS2 kid, the Beyblade kid. I was just the most uncool person you'd ever meet. So I got picked on because I didn't know what to do. And you know, and I had, it was just like one of those things. And the kids that I was in class, like, when I got to year 12, everybody knew what really made me tick. And there was some people in the class, in fact, one of them's not here. One of them's up there in the sky, James Mercer. He knew I was a douchebag, but then he knew he pooed himself one day with something. I can't remember what it was. And he realised, hang on a sec, this is the kid we're going to have to look after a bit. He turned from being the kid in the class to being the guy that I had to look up to. Do you know what I'm saying? If something wrong happened, he had to put it right. He couldn't have it. I remember him apologising for something before he left. But he worked me out pretty quickly. And he realised that, this is I'm gonna have to look after this person. He didn't have to, it was just something he did. Because everybody else could be a douchebag, but, we were year 12. We weren't just kids in the school anymore. But I was still a kid in the school. I didn't give a shit about leading an example of the school. I didn't care, honest to goodness. I still did my things, I still listened to my music, and I was still me. But I went to this college one day a week, and they taught me, what rock and roll really was. And I was also watching the School of Rock. I remember seeing that movie. Excuse me. I saw that movie at the start of sixth form. I remember seeing it. And I remember coming out of class. I remember watching that movie thinking, wow, everything I'm feeling in school, this will help me through. And that film, The School of Rock, helped me through sixth form. Because like I said, it was a rite of passage. You watch that film, The School of Rock, I remember saying to Steve Roberts, I said, have you seen The School of Rock? He said, yeah, why? Funnily he had. And I said, well, you're the man. then he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, he said to me, he said, I hope you'll remember everything I taught you about respect. And I thought, you taught me nothing about respect. Nothing. Yeah. Steve Roberts, you're the man. He still is the man. But I did apologise. When I was at Henshaw's, I shook his hand and meant it. Because, you know, when you're at school, shit happens. But we have to apologise for some things. But for others, not, maybe. But, yeah. And I think as well, like you being rebellious, you know, moving out, you know, as I spoke at the beginning of this podcast. And, well, yeah, because I'd live with my next door neighbour. And I went back to live with my parents. Their fucking shitty rules, their way of living. You have to do your own thing. And it might be, I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, and sometimes you have to do your own thing to become a better person. But sometimes when I feel a bit strange, I think the butterfly. Yeah. All the time. I am the butterfly. What the You know, Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary kicks in all the time. Yeah. Great guy. Terence McKenna and Timothy Leary are the great two people who taught us the psychedelic process. They taught us how to move on. They taught us how to be better people. They told us like the whole psychedelic thing. They taught it all. They didn't just say, you must be the butterfly. But, you know, you will be the butterfly. You know, you will be such a thing. And I think it's important, excuse me, because we try and we forget taking the rough with the smooth, which is an old saying. But sometimes you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You know? Life isn't going to be like a car with a smooth suspension. It's going to be, sometimes it's going to be like sitting on a shovel. You know? You're going to feel some of the lumps and the bumps in the road, and they'll hurt your arse. But, but you know, you can't have a nice smooth suspension. You can't have a nice smooth road all the time. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of sitting on the shovel with a bit of lumpy bumpy. You know, sorry, but it has to happen. You know. And if I'm going to teach you guys something, on the podcast, it's going to be this, right? If you want to be a douchebag, fine. But it does pay. It does pay. You know? And sometimes you'll have to learn the hardest way. That's, sometimes, you think it's going to be easy. Sometimes it ain't. And, and, anyway. But some people just think, oh yeah, that's me, And then when the shit hits the fan, they don't know what to do. But and that's where, when the shit hits the fan, why have they not listened? When they should have been listening. And they just choose not to. They just thought, well, we'll just ride along. Because that's what people do. And then it'll hit them. Hit them where it really hurts. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this pod. We've waffled on about a hell of a lot of things. And go on, Andy. I think as well, when you talk about the douchebags, people, I guess karma goes to bite them, if that's what you believe in or whatever. Like Steve said, that easy ride, that's not gonna, I think we seem to think that we could just sit back and let something happen. When, they'll just be like, well, oh, look at me, kind of thing. Yeah. But that, oh, look at me, that's going to wear off when given time. And people don't hold on to the true rebellion side. And that's when they do shit themselves. Which is okay to shit yourself as long as you clean it up after. Anyway. So anyway, I hope people have taken that advice somewhere along the line. If they haven't, they haven't. I suppose it's good advice all good advice is good for most of people or whatever. But yeah. And take a breath. I want to do an episode on the nervous system and about reprogramming and recoding. And that all comes from Timothy Leary, a lot of it, and Terence McKenna. But it just, the neon hippies actually do a lot of recoding. We call it the there's a book that one of our fellow neon hippies is working on called The Earth Machine, which is basically how we can not necessarily slow life down, but if you look at it like you're on a boat. I have to do it on my other channel because we don't really talk about spiritualization on this channel, but yeah, you're going to have to do some stuff. I'll do a little, I'll give people a little taste of spiritualization. But it's when you start going into things like, people don't think of their nervous system. They don't think about their nervous system. They just wade through life, and when shit really hits them, they think, wow. It's like, but and you get a feel of you get to feel more again. Because when you're a teenager, you've explored emotion. Or you've been through it. But you get to feel what emotion was like in your younger days. You get to feel the highs and the lows properly. Because your nervous system, you're slowing things down. So if you take the boat analogy, when you're going over a wave and you sort of feel seasick, you go to the middle of the boat and you sort of calm yourself down. The best way to do. And also you just ride the wave. You're just riding that wave all the way because you're allowing it to. And you're just slowing things down. And you're just like, you're taking the image. You are looking, you're sort of taking a look at the image and you're getting a feel for it, as like, say, you would do if you were to just rush through it like at 100 miles an hour. We're always that's how we do it. And we just go 100 miles an hour, breathing fast. We're not slowing things down. We're not even thinking about our breathing. We're not even, that even goes for me, but you think about your breathing, and as you're breathing, you're thinking about what you're taking in. And it's like, well, hold on a second. I can take in this image. I can take this image and I can just take it in, digest that image of what it is, what's happening, digest a bit of life, because that makes everything better. It goes for the butterfly analogy. Yes, you can still create chaos. Even when you slow down, you can still create chaos. You can still breathe it in. You can still hold on. That's the whole thing as well. It's about holding on, because the thing is, but it's about letting go too. Letting go is more, I'd say letting go is more important. Letting go is, because you can hold on to something, like you can hold on to rebellion, you can hold on to beliefs, you can, like I have a very tight grip on spirituality. I have a huge grip on it because the things that, I think spirituality, like being the butterfly, like Timothy O'Leary, Terence McKenna, they've taught us to be the thing that they've taught us to go through process. And as we're going through a process and as we're going through change, we have to real breathe it in, because that's when, if we slow things down, we're able to take things in and we're able to move on and push forward, because it's a big thing. Like life is big. Life is like like if you were to walk down the M6 motorway, where you've got cars coming in at you and you've got traffic. Could you imagine walking down a busy M6 motorway? Like, forget the footpath the other side. Forget the lovely grass verge on the side there. Just imagine you're walking down 6 lanes of traffic. Like, you wouldn't do that, but, if you did. Yeah. So that's the way you have to think. And you have to, the way you have to think about it is you've got to just jump on the side, on the grass, on the nice grassy verge there, on the hard shoulder. You've got to just jump on the hard shoulder, stand on the hard shoulder, and let's watch those 6 lanes of traffic go by. That's life, baby. That's not traffic, that's life. But you just got to think, right, okay, if I just stand on the hard shoulder and just breathe it in, and as soon as I'm ready to walk back into the 6 lanes of traffic, that's it. But just when life gets you down, just stand on the hard shoulder and just watch it flow past. Just ride the waves when you'll be riding them, because we're riding them already. But there's sometimes when we just gotta find the middle of the boat, and we just gotta let the boat go over the waves, and we just gotta, it's like when you're being seasick and you just gotta, because stuff will happen, and that's the way it'll just happen. You know what I mean? Things will just come and go. But you want it to flow properly. There's people that they're doing this, 100 miles an hour. Like what? The neon hippies. What we're teaching is making. It's like sharpening your mental health. It's about bettering all of that. It's like working on it. And, we've even gone back on to doing zero velocity. We're doing a whole freaking course on that, which is a big, massive thing. Will that be on the Beansworld website? Or there is a taste. People have been asking. There is a taste of zero velocity course, but there isn't the whole audio stuff. There isn't all that. Because it's big and it's long. Yes, it's frick my ass. It is what it is. It's it's hey, but sometimes somebody told me, they were doing a meditation class, and they told me the thing sometimes you have to go back to where you started from. And for me, that takes me back to the road to Damascus, which is where I heard the word progression. And I also heard the words process. But process had a very different meaning to what it would have had. But we understood what process meant, but we didn't know what progression, why I was given that main word in the first place. So it's going back to the place where I started, and again, but we don't slow our nervous systems down. We're accelerating, we're pushing, we're going 100 mile an hour, you know, we're shooting to the stars and all that kind of. But, well, you know, but, and zero velocity is brilliant. Zero velocity, it's, yeah, everybody's learning it. Anyway, on that note, we'll go because we've got an hour down there, so I'm going to try and hunt that cable out. Yep. Right, that's me done. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment and, yeah, because that is big too.